What's going on, Obasi Posse? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Obasi, and if you're new here, be sure to subscribe and become part of the gang. Love to have you. Check out the links below because this platform isn't totally safe. So I have backup content and exclusive content on my Patreon and my BitChute. Okay, so today's topic of the video that we are talking about is the agricultural / food reset that no one's talking about. Everyone's talking about the Great Reset in terms of economics and the financial system, which I have videos on, and I will be doing even more in-depth videos on that topic, but no one's talking about how even the food system is centralized and how that is getting reset and what's going on with our food, you guys. It's very, there's so much to talk about on my channel. I become overwhelmed. I really do. So we're going to talk about it, and we're going to introduce the discussion today. So stick with me and stick all the way through. A lot of this is some juicy content. Okay, so the agricultural reset. What brought this on? Well, we're going to begin with something that I'm sure you guys heard of called McPlant. McDonald's released a new plant-based burger, completely plant-based, and I saw it on I was reading the Wall Street Journal, I think a couple mornings ago, and I thought this is a great way to introduce this topic because I've been wanting to talk about this for, I want to say 3 years now, actually, because I actually used to be a hardcore vegan, and I stopped being vegan. I got so many questions on why I stopped, and it's for this specific reason, and I didn't know how to kind of introduce the discussion, and I'm actually going to go much further in depth with all the different aspects of this video in future videos to come. So stick with me and subscribe to the channel. This was just a great way to introduce the topic with you guys. So we have McDonald's introducing McPlant. What's disturbing about this McPlant article is that it says over the past couple of years, basically every fast food chain has released a meatless burger. Okay, so while White Castle has made a slider using Impossible Foods, Chipotle stuffs burritos with tofu-based sofritas, and Burger King, Del Taco, KFC have all introduced plant-based meat. In just 1 year, plant-based meat went from something very new Americans have never heard of to something 40% of us have tried, knowingly or unknowingly. And a lot of people who are vegan and just very like new age pride and stuff, I have a whole playlist on exposing the new age movement, by the way, and I'm very health conscious, so I do know the statistics and stuff like that of milk and hormones and GMOs and meat and all that other thing, but we're just sticking to this right now. The vegans, they got really excited over this. They thought, wow, the world, finally some good news, something's turning around. You thought it was, but it's not. And this is exactly why I quit being vegan. This word right here that we see, I've talked in previous videos about it. If you guys haven't seen my previous videos, every single video, almost every single video here on my channel, even if it doesn't seem like it is, because of this beautiful word right here, I've had to change titles and the overall look of my video, but really there's information packed in every single one of my videos. You've been hearing this word a lot, especially if you're watching my videos, through the research of articles of a corporate sustainable responsibility. This is something that a lot of companies, depending on who you work for and working with right now, you're going to be hearing a lot. I talked about it on the cybersecurity video that I had, which is the new narrative that we'll be seeing. If you haven't checked out that video, check it out. And it says the forum commits to being a leader in practicing sustainability. And this was on the World Economic Forum. And basically they're going to digitalize and change everything, including our food. Everyone, if you haven't seen my food shortage video and stuff like that, that all correlates as well. So we're gonna say goodbye farming and hello to gene and lab created 3D printed food, recycled food, just not real food, not real cows, not real dairy, not real things, okay? Not even real plants. That is what this, that's what all this is coming to. So we want to follow the money. Earlier, and on my food shortage video I posted a few months ago, and earlier this year we saw articles of farmers being incentivized to stop farming. We saw lots of farmers dumping milk, having a surplus of eggs. We've heard a lot of farmers talk on social media and release their disheartenedness about how Government and their regulations are saying they can't even sell their meat. They have to discard all these crops. I've talked about it many times on my channel, and I will dive into it again for an even updated video. We're going to dive into that concept a little more later in this video, as well as in future videos to come, because I'm very, very passionate about farming. So not only are we seeing this in human food, but we're also seeing this in like our dog and cat food, because Purina and Nestle is one of the most biggest food companies ever, are now launching pet food with plant and insect proteins. So we are trying to get rid of farming, real meat, everything in every sector. Purina has insect proteins in their food. Nestle thinks your cat or dog will love fava beans and insects, and insect farming is just completely on the rise, mind you. Insect Protein Market 2020 is driven by industry major players, dynamics, future opportunities, revenue, growth, Next Protein, EnviroFlight LLC, Thailand Unique, and Tanimal Farms. And we're seeing food come out of literal thin air. I can't make this up. It says right here in this article, the newest fake meat is made from thin air. Instead of huge fields of cows contributing to global warming and their births, okay, I mentioned this sarcastically in many of my videos, that cow farts and emissions. Anyone who knows anything, that's not true, okay? And I want to talk about how, if you guys haven't seen my new narrative video and the cyber threat video, what we'll be seeing in the future and why they're digitalizing everything, and articles that I showed on my channel here in 2016, where in 2016 they wrote that the lockdowns and everything like that, and the slowness of life has done great things for the planet. So they want to keep people not using cars. They want to change everything to energy cars. You're seeing that with Tesla. You're seeing that with NIO. I will be doing stock videos on my channel coming soon. Ford is now participating in cars with energy, and solar is on the rise. Everything is on the rise in that market. And of course, the poor little cows are always to blame, right? It's the cows. Again, this has been studied so many times. You guys can do your own due diligence on that. Cows are not the cause, and our cars even aren't the cause of our environmental problems. So not only do we have McPlant, but we also have KFC, who printed chicken nuggets. And I didn't remember hearing any of that. I actually found that while researching this. Literally 3D printing our food now, ladies and gentlemen. And I talked about CRISPR many times on my channel. Not a fan. They do a lot of gene editing, a lot of lab creating, basically for new agendas that I'm not quite a fan of. So if you haven't heard of CRISPR or read the book, I recommend that as well. We also see upcycled food. You're literally eating trash. That's literally what it is. Upcycled food is another word for recycled food. Taking your food garbage, mashing it in this like meat masher, creating food out of it again, and feeding it to you. That's what upcycled food is. And not only does that sound ridiculous, but it's doing amazing. Because look at the waste is worth $46.7 billion from trash to treasure. And I've talked about scripted simulations on my channel so many times. I talked about the food chain reaction game, Event 201, Cyber Polygon, and the only one that I really see people talking about is Event 201. That went really mainstream. The other ones for some reason didn't. Again, do your own research and due diligence. The reason why I bring simulation up is because we're hearing a lot of talk about a carbon tax. Taxing businesses, stuff like that on carbon, right? Because of climate change and because of the digital tax and everything that's happening with our environment, the wildfires, all this other stuff. Definitely take a look at my previous videos on that. And the food chain reaction game was in 2015. That game, that scripted reality prediction tabletop exercise, predicted and ended with it having a carbon tax. The simulation ended with a global carbon tax. They will tax the carbon, okay? Oh, adding a carbon tax on meat could save the planet, says experts. They're going to make it harder and harder. If you are a farmer, a self-sustainable individual, which is my goal in my future, I'll be doing videos on that. I've already done several videos on food shortages, food prepping, getting into sustainable living against technology and the digitalization and everything they're kind of making us forcefully submit to in life. I'm against that, and I'm going the different direction, and I will be doing more videos on that in the future. But check out my food shortage video. That's what the thumbnail looks like on my channel. And just remember that that simulation occurred 5 years ago. Okay, and talk about how the food prices are going to rise. People will starve. People will depend on the government, UBI, all that stuff I've talked about on my channel. Some of the videos have been taken down. Some are on BitChute, some are on Patreon. I recommend following me on both platforms. An interesting article that I read as well was, could Biden become the food tech president? Food tech, everybody. Just hold on to that word if you don't hold on to anything else. Food tech. Our food is not going to be coming from the same place as it's been becoming. And you guys know I've healed my back holistically. I've went through a lot of health problems, and I did them all through a lot of holistic research, herbal research, veganism, all these different types of diets. I studied them, I studied the body, and I understand a lot because I put in the work years ago. The thing about it is, even those, you know, rising allergies and gluten allergies, stuff like that, people never had those years before, and the reason why is because of the gene editing, genetic altering of our food. And now it is going to become increasingly worse. For example, the keto diet was super popular, and I always said on my social media, don't do the keto diet, it's not healthy. Just because you lose weight doesn't mean it's healthy. Just because you're a bodybuilder and are ripped and take all this protein and stuff like that, and this protein powder, doesn't mean you're healthy, doesn't mean it's good for your body. There's all these different things. Food tech shouldn't be a thing, ladies and gentlemen. Create a U.S. government office or agency focused on food and AG innovation. It says right here, while there's no shortage of food tech innovation in the U.S., there's been comparatively little done at the government level compared to Singapore, China, and the European Union, all of which who have governments making concerted efforts to foster future food innovation in their markets. And again, they're going to talk about how this will sustain us, how this will protect us, how this will help the climate, how this is great, and they convince everyone that veganism is the best, and how veganism will eventually unlock your third eye, and that you will become more spiritual, more wise, and more balanced, and more peaceful and loving. And I did several videos. I have a whole playlist exposing the New Age movement and paying attention to those particular words. And I will be getting into more health videos as well. There's a lot to discuss over here. And I just want to end this video with saving the farmers. We're essentially trying to create and incentivize farmers and make it hard for them in order to get to a meat-free world. So a lot of people who don't know, they'll be like, well, this is great. We're finally saving the planet and the animals, and poor them and stuff like this. And you guys have to really pay attention to what's going on and really look at the big picture. So a lot of my videos, I'm doing book recommendations, and I will be doing a whole prepper type book video of books you should have in your house for reference, because the internet could go down, you guys, and you need to have books of reference. Everything is going to become digital. Buy those books of reference. I say this all the time. And then books for like more leisure and learning and stuff like that. But a couple books I really want to quickly mention are books on farming. My goal is to actually live sustainably, have a homestead, be off the grid. That's my goal in the next 5 years, to be completely sustainable. So I've got books on raising chickens. I recommend this book. Books on the Encyclopedia of Edible Plants of North America, food preserving without freezing or canning, keeping honeybees. These are all books that I've just slowly been acquiring to have. Organic farming, this is really essential. Seed to seed, seed saving and growing techniques for vegetable gardens. These are all amazing, like, picture guided books. Fences for pasture and garden, so fences for, you know, your cows, your goats, your gardens, stuff like this, and how to kind of erect them. So those are some recommendations. I will be doing more thorough recommendations of these types of books. Support your local farmer. If you see a sign to sell honey, a sign for selling eggs or meat, things like that, support them. It's actually better quality for you anyway. Support your local farmer. They're really struggling out here, and it'll help in the long run. So there's a lot more to talk about in this video, so much more, and we're going to dive into it in future videos. So if you're new here, be sure to stick with me and subscribe, become part of the Obasi posse. I'd love to have you. Check out any links below in the description. I'm Mary Obasi, and I will see you guys in my next video. Thanks for watching.